Good morning, USA! Football fans, soccer fans, AFL fans. Bobby Cardenas coming at you Sunday morning, the 3rd, from Lancaster, California. Beautiful Antelope Valley. Be careful. Huge storms are coming in tonight, okay? We could get snow. I'm just letting you know. Excuse me. I'm watching Real Madrid at Valencia. And I finished watching some other BPO games this morning. I got a couple more La Liga games from yesterday. You're watching. Okay, look, this post, I want to first touch on, as I promised I would, the best of last year in the world of football. And I'm actually going to narrow it down to two big things. The first one, of course, being that our ladies, our women's national team, won their third World Cup. For you that don't know, they won the very first Women's World Cup in 1991. Then they won it again in 1999 here with the championship game versus China at the Rose Bowl, the famous Brandy Chastain penalty at PK and then ripping off of the jersey. It was great stuff for Nike, great advertisement for Nike with the swoosh thing, whatever. And so then our ladies go to Canada this past summer and win in the final game versus Japan in Vancouver. What a great way to send off Abby Wambach, because that's her first World Cup. She tried a couple times and couldn't do it. Couldn't do it last time against Japan in 2011. But we did it this time. And Wambach now can retire, and she retires as the leading international goal scorer for her country. Leading men and women. She eclipsed Mia Hamm. But there's no male player right now playing that has more international goals, meaning goals for his country, than Abby Wambach does. She's a phenom. I really think because of her size and her skills, she could give some men a run for their money on the field, believe me, in her prime, about 10 years ago. Anyway, so that's the biggest highlight. The other one, it's a highlight, but it's actually based in a low light. And that was, of course, the investigation into FIFA, into Sepp Blatter's regime and all of his cronies for money laundering, bribery, giving World Cups going back to 1998 to nations under some hanky-panky suspicious things, especially the last two, to Russia for 2018 that's going to come up, and the one that's supposed to be in Qatar, or Qatar, whichever way you pronounce it, in 2022. And Sepp Blatter finally was banned by FIFA for 9 months, or I forget how long. Now I think about it. And Michel Platini also. Suffice it to say, Blatter's out. They'll have a new presidential election probably sometime early this year. I think in February, March, they had originally stated they were going to do last year. So anyway, so that's good. We have to clean up FIFA. We really do. I mean, he did some good stuff. He promoted the game well, but, he just lined his pockets and everybody else's pockets a little bit too much. Let's face it, Come on. It's supposed to be a non-profit organization that's worth $5 billion or more right now, I believe. Anyway, okay, but let's talk about, let me end this with a few things that happened yesterday and today regarding referee decisions. There was a game yesterday, and I love it when these announcers really show how ignorant they are with the things that they say. There was a game between Man U and Swansea. And there was a handball, as they call it, right? And you know how much I hate that word, handball, because it's handling. There was a player named Schneidlin who appeared to handle the ball, but the referee did not call it, and rightfully so, because it wasn't handling. But the announcer says that the lawmakers of the game, on the game actually said it, the lawmakers of the game, are still trying to find a concrete law surrounding handball. They've commissioned the Welsh FA, because of Swansea, that's where, to try to see what they could come up with. There are so many gray areas. Why do these guys talk about things they have no idea about? The hell is wrong with you? No, there aren't gray areas as far as what the law says and how it's written. There are always gray areas in how it's interpreted, just like everything in friggin' life, okay? It's subjective, for crying out loud. But the law reads perfectly that it's intentional handling that's illegal. That's all. And it's done several ways. So shut up and just announce the game. Don't talk about laws. Don't talk about anything you don't understand unless you can prove that you've been a referee. And if you were a referee and said something like that, then shame on you. All right, the other one that just happened here in this game that I'm watching. Phil Schoen says there was an injury to Benzema. He got fouled. He got a pretty good clip. And the referee didn't immediately blow it. Play continued for a few seconds, and then he blew it. And then all hell broke loose because they were wondering, why is he stopping it? Benzema was rolling around on the ground because his shin got nailed. But why is he stopping it? Phil Schoen says that a referee is not supposed to blow the whistle unless there's a suspected head injury to stop the game. Really? Where the hell do you get your information from, Mr. Phil Schoen? And I use that word, Mr. lightly. You say some of the most stupid things I've ever heard of. A referee's first responsibility is the safety of the players. And a referee can decide to stop the game for any injury if he feels, that the player's safety is in jeopardy, either because of play around him or her, or because he wishes attention to be given to the player as soon as possible. Obviously, in a concussion, you blow it immediately. You have to try to stop it as fast as possible. But in another injury, you have every right to stop it as a referee. What is wrong with you, Phil Schoen? So quit saying shit you don't understand. All right, that's it. I got to go. I'll come back later and maybe do another post tonight after some of the games and after what happens with Real Madrid and other things that happened this morning, BPO and some others. Say no to racism. Say no to racism. And Bobby, my son, leaves today back to Vancouver. Cheers, Bobby. Have a safe trip. I love you, man. And my grandson turns 2 months today officially. Go USA! And Princeton, a future footballer. At least I hope so.